Hi everybody, it's Peter Zahns, Griniflix Adventure 8, and welcome to another video. Okay, today I'm back into photography and I'm back into Leica. And guess what? It's the Q2, the Leica Q2 with the 28mm f1.7 Summilux lens. I caved in. 28mm lens. I don't normally shoot with a 28mm lens. My favorite lenses are 35 and 50. However, the common argument for going for the Leica Q2, particularly amongst Leica M users, is that you get a 28mm Summilux lens and everything else is for free. Is it really true? Let's find out. First impressions. So how did this madness come about? Getting the Q2. I've been looking at the Q2 for some time. I did buy it second-hand through my favorite Leica collector and dealer, so that's good. So I thought, well, in the worst case scenario, I could shoot it for a few months, do some videos, and if I don't like it, I could always sell it. Leica Gear seems to be hanging on to its price quite well, particularly in these days of inflation. Anything you buy now, chances are it's going to be more expensive in a few months' time. Anyway, so 1.7 f-stop, 28mm. Okay, needless to say, there'll be a lot of photographs that I'll share, but probably the first impressions. It's about the same size as the Leica M. It's about the same weight as a Leica M with a 35mm or 50mm lens on it. As in like the Monochrom f2. So that's about the same. Now, where do some of the differences really start to apply? Well, straight away you've got focusing. It's automatic focus. So you've got manual focus, of course, and you've got automatic focus. Okay. One of the things I like about the M series, they are all manual focus. And therefore gives you a bit more time to concentrate on the composition, getting the right focus, exactly what you want. As soon as you use automatic focus, things just change. I'll be experimenting with that to see whether I really enjoy the autofocus or not. The other thing about the M series cameras is that if you go to an event or something like that and someone else wants to grab your camera and take a photograph of you, chances are they've got no idea how to use it. And to give instructions to get someone else to take the shot for you is usually pretty hard. So having something that's automatic focus can be of benefit to other people who are less experienced. There is this electronic viewfinder, so there's no rangefinder on this. So again, that's a fundamental difference. Okay, back to focus. The close focus on this is 0.3 meters. But the other aspect of this is that you can actually put it onto micro or macro, and that will focus right down to 0.17 meters, so they're 17 centimeters. So that's like that, focus down to that distance. That's good. So I'm looking forward to that flexibility. What other obvious things are there? Yes, it does take video as well. Here are the microphones on top of the camera there. But typical of this sort of design is that it's affected by wind noise quite easily. There's not much wind right now, but I will take some video with this to give a bit of a comparison as well. Let's take some photographs and let's see sort of the results that we've got. We'll take some shots around the beach areas here, and also take some night shots around the city, which will then give us a little bit of a comparison. So right now there's a slight breeze coming from the beach here, and I've got a external microphone on the iPhone here with a wind sock or a dead cat, I'm not sure what you call it, but anyway, to muffle the sound, muffle the wind noise. Hopefully there's no wind noise coming right now, but we'll turn the Q2 on. we're recording. Alright, so we're recording right now. So I'm shooting at 1.7 on the Q2, and I've got it on AF single focus, which means I'm using the shutter button to actually set the focus. I could set the focus on automatic focus, so I might do that as well. Okay, we're on autofocus continuous now, so if I change my subject, yep, it's changing focus on the Q2. And I come back to my close-up. Yeah, that's better. It does seem to have problems focusing on a flat surface, whereas if I focus on my fluffy mic there, it seems to handle it quite well. Alright, well, I'm sort of being reserved on the video capabilities of the Q2 at this stage, particularly when it comes to autofocus. But now I might change the field of focus, and that might produce a better result. Let's try that. So, continuing with my first impressions with the Q2, with the Leica Q2. Alright, well, I must admit, I'm really impressed. I know when I was looking at all the Q2 Leica review videos, one of the things that really sticks out always is people say you basically get a Summilux 28mm f1.7 lens for, well, you buy the lens and you get the body for free. And from the shots that I've taken so far, this lens is incredible. It is, without a doubt, on par with some of the best Leica M lenses that you can get. So I'm really impressed with that. And then the body itself, with the 47 megapixel sensor, is outstanding too, because you've got a lot of detail there, and you can crop down to your desire. I'm in an area looking for some hieroglyphs in Gosford. There'll be a map. And pretty muddy conditions right now, but it also provides some interesting photography. Okay, well, using the video function on the Q2 here, now I just realized that on this bottle brush type flower, we've got a bee. I'm just using the close focus, which is giving me a wonderful image. And also using the macro function, which is giving me a close focus. Come on, bee, what are you going to do? Going to come out? Yes, well, the versatility of this camera is incredible. I've got no wind around the place, so that's going to be good for the audio. Okay, so there is no zoom on this. It's a fixed lens, 28mm. And you can then crop. Well, if I take the photograph, I can just take the photograph and then crop later on. Or I can get a preview crop by pressing the button here, and then that gives you a number of different crop factors equivalent to 28, which is full, 35, 50, and 75. Back to the iPhone. The iPhone has 3 lenses. And in 35mm speak, I think they're equivalent to the wide angle. The widest angle is about 15. The normal lens is around the 24 mark, I think. And the telephoto lens is around the 50mm mark. And I think the anti-shakes is probably better on the iPhone than it is on the Q2. But anyway, the Q2 video is a good option. And having that 1.7 f-stop lens can really blur out the background, which is really nice. And yeah, so I guess you can do that to a certain extent on the iPhone with computational photography. But it's nice to be able to do it optically with the lens. Right, so in these bushwalking conditions, the Q2 comes into its own because a lot of it is close up. Tight spaces, so the 28mm lens is actually ideal. And to have that wide f-stop range from 1.7 to 16 can give you all sorts of photographic opportunities. Shallow depth of field to really long to really deep depth of field. Okay, well I have to backtrack because I did take the wrong turn through the creek here, and eventually I'll get to the destination. So the Q2, I did buy this second hand, used, so you can save a few bucks that way. And you know, the other Q2 that I have an interest in is the Q2 Monochrom, and I wasn't, you know, I'm in two minds to get the Q2 conventional Q2 or the Q2 Monochrom. I've got the M10 Monochrom, so that's I suspect I'll probably stick with that for now. On to the next scene, and then probably some more thoughts. Okay, so now we're on autofocus continuous, and let's see how it handles different focusing situations. So back to selfie, videoing selfie. I guess what I'm looking for here is the anti-shakes, the focus, whether it's staying focused on me or what, as I walk to the destination of today's walk, which are the Hieroglyphs. These glyphs, I mean, there's all sorts of stories and research that's been done. They appeared somewhere around the late 1800s, early 1900s. I'll have some details there. Or maybe, you know, and then there's some stories that go back, you know, thousands of years that the Egyptians came to Australia and put these hieroglyphs here. Is that true, or is it just a pack of lies? Who knows? And there are a number of tracks. Whether I'm actually on the right track or not, I'm not entirely sure. Or whether that will go to the same location, but we'll find out shortly. You know, obviously recent years I've been doing a lot of videos on the M series cameras, and one of the things that I love about the M series cameras is the rangefinder and the manual focus. It slows everything down. It gives you an option of using all sorts of wonderful lenses in all sorts of wonderful situations. So I found that I was using my Nikon gear a lot less, the digital SLRs, the D850 and the 500 and the D700 that I got, and also my Z6. The Z6 Nikon I use for filming in my studio, and not so much for stills or out in the field. When I'm using the Nikon DSL stuff and the Z6, it's all about I guess autofocus everywhere, isn't it? It's AF everywhere. I have a whole bunch of manual lenses, but yes, it was a novelty to use those, but I tend to use the AF lenses, the zoom lenses. I've only got a macro AF lens, prime lens. Yeah, I might have to go back the other way, I think. This track is going in the wrong direction. Alright, well that should be enough of a test with the selfie. Alright, well let's do a quick summary here. It's been good using the Q2. I guess I've been thinking about it for many years, and therefore finally getting one to try out, to use, see whether I like it, is a great opportunity. Without a doubt, it packs a lot of things that I like about shooting Leica M cameras into a similar body as far as shape is concerned, but then adding a whole bunch of flexibility to the whole camera experience and photography experience in one camera. It won't be replacing my M cameras. It will be supplementing my M cameras, and there will be situations where I choose to use the Q2, or it might be a second camera to my M camera, depending on the situation, whether it's adventure travel, whether it's event photography, whether it's family or personal photography as well. All right, well, I'll finish off with a few photographs that I've taken in a number of locations around the city and also around the beach. Enjoy the slideshow. There will be more that will be coming out on the Q2, and also maybe some shooting comparisons between certain lenses and the Q2 and the M series, or the Leica M series cameras. And that will be interesting. It'll be interesting for me. I hope it'll be interesting for you as well. If it's the first time to my channel, then please do subscribe. Press notifications to be notified when the next video is out. And also, if you like the video, then give it a thumbs up. That helps to support the channel. Really appreciate your time, and thanks for viewing. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.